Well, hello, world. Welcome back to Golf Subpar. Colt Knost and Drew Stoltz. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see I got this beautiful backdrop. I'm in New York City, just left the Travelers. Big day tomorrow, Sleeves. Turning 38. Had to come to the city to celebrate it.
Yes, dude. Wanted to send you a big happy B-Day. You got a nice day lined up too, by the way. Gravy meets the Big Apple. Hell of a backdrop you got behind you. Tell the folks where you're banging it tomorrow.
Yeah. So, by the way, 90 miles from TPC River Highlands to the Soho Grand here in downtown Manhattan. 90 miles, 3 hours. Traffic is so sweet in this place. It's unbelievable. But we're going to go out on a night on the town tonight and then heading up to the Hamptons tomorrow, teeing it up at one of my all-time favorite, Friar's Head. Then Tuesday, we're jumping on the boat, going across the Hudson to Liberty National. It's going to be a hell of a few days, my man.
Look at you, bud. How else would you bring in 38? You know what I mean? What other
That's
way is
right.
there to do it? Friar's Head, by the way, there's so many good ones up there. I feel like it gets attention, but I don't think it gets as much as it deserves. It's
It is.
top five in the sleaze rankings, at least. I don't know how the rest of the world, golf, all these things rank them, but it's good. And it doesn't just beat your head in like some of the courses up there.
No, it's in my top three. I can't wait to do it, but I got to give a huge shout out to Keegan Bradley, man. That performance he put on at the Travelers Championship, just running away from the field, tried to make it a little interesting coming down the stretch. I know his heart was beating a million miles an hour trying to win. You know, it's not technically his hometown, but it's the New England area. He's a Boston guy. Was born in Vermont, so this is the closest thing to a hometown tournament for him. He says next to a major, this is the one he wanted to win the most, and he did it, man. Had it, with Ches Reavie in that final pairing, and he put on a clinic, man. It was impressive to watch. Congrats to him on his sixth PGA Tour win.
Yeah, through the early front nine, I was like, well, this is going to be a 6-7 shot win here for Keegan. And then he tried to make it interesting, dude. Like, he made he hadn't made bogey in forever. Started making a few, and Cantlay actually had a chance to make that thing very interesting on 17, 18, but he had a couple slip-ups, missed the putt on 16, missed the putt on 17, and from that point, it was just like, keep it out of the water, and this thing's yours. And also a nice way for him to win that one. Like it's very, well known that this is the tournament he wants to win. It's like a Scottsdale guy winning at the Phoenix Open, but to be able to like enjoy the walk-up 18 and not have to stress on it, you know what I mean? Like he got to celebrate it a little bit early. And also, Colt, this is happening right now. If you are a golfer out there and you own an old jailbreak putter, maybe a good time to pull it out of the old garage, throw that bitch on eBay, because there are people right now that are like, how do I get this? If Odyssey doesn't re-release that thing, they're crazy. Between Wyndham and Ricky last week, now you follow it up with Keegan. Dust that thing off, shine her up, throw her on the bay, and you got a little retirement policy.
I know you got my garage code and I'm out of town, but I'm 99% sure I got at least two of them in the garage.
You don't anymore, buddy boy. Meant to tell you that.
Perfect, thanks.
Yeah, buy it now. Buy it now went quick.
That thing is hot right now, but man, it was a great week. The amount of people, and I'll go ahead and I got to give you this answer. I did not find the heckler, okay? But the amount of people that came up and asked me, have you seen him this week? Has he thrown anything at you? Zero heckling. I was actually very disappointed. I wanted to see every person that came up and asked me, I'm like, are you him? Be honest.
That was going to be my first thing, dude. It's like in a murder case when the murderer returns to the scene and watches the cops operate because they're like, oh, I'll look like an innocent bystander. Like it might have been him in there just mixing it up. Like, have you found him? Oh, I hope you find him type of deal. So don't rule that out. But I don't know what the hell happened to this guy, dude. We gave him a lot of pub. We shout him out on the radio. We're trying to find him. We need to offer cash or something. But he's up there, and I guess he's just tucked his head and ran. Or maybe he just only likes heckling the players. And then once you're not playing anymore, he doesn't give a shit. Who knows? But
man, it was an awesome week. Actually stayed in a new area this year called West Hartford. Beautiful place, tons of bars and restaurants. Went out with Max Homa Friday and Saturday night. But he's getting so famous, it's annoying. Like people are waiting in line to take a picture with this guy, and he says yes to everyone. I was like, Max, start telling these people they have to buy you a drink to take a picture so we don't have to pay for this shit all night. Like, at least let's get something out of this.
And then just slide it on over to daddy. Dude, at golf tournaments, it's probably 10X because everybody knows, like, hey, the tour's in town. Dude, when I had him for the Fiesta Bowl, when TCU played down here, had him in, I invited him out, and just walking into there, that's football fans. Like, I know there's some golf fan overlaps, but I was just like, God damn, Max, we got to get in the game, bud. Like, I ain't missing the start of this thing. You know what I mean? He's the real deal Holyfield, dude. But he's got to start taking advantage of that a little bit. What's being famous if you don't get free shit? That's
exactly. I know he doesn't want to obviously spend Friday and Saturday evenings with me, but we did have a great time. West Hartford, shout out. Y'all were an absolute blast. And Sleaze, our episode last week, the caddy episode, Austin Kaiser, John Ellis was a huge hit. So we thought, you know what? Why don't we throw another caddy on the pod? We got a legend this week, John Cubby Burke. He is a beauty.
Cubby, he's got some good stories. The caddies are awesome. People love them. They tell real stories. Shout out to Ellis and Kaiser last week for doing great. We got Burke this week. We're going to get some more coming up as well because people seem to love them and they're just fun as hell to be around. But before we get to Cubby, I want to tell you about RLX. Huge shout out to our boys. The RLX Golf Collection draws inspiration from the traditional aesthetic of polo, updating it to create a modern sensibility focused on performance-driven design. From sophisticated styles to the most technologically advanced fabrics available, RLX Golf is the ultimate in functional luxury and provides pieces that are ready for whatever the conditions bring on the course or off. Ralph Lauren is the official outfitter of the United States Ryder Cup team and partner of the AJGA. Ralph Lauren is proud to continue its sponsorship of golf ambassadors Tom Watson, Davis Love III, Jonathan Bird, Smiley Kaufman, shout out, Nick Watney, Billy Horschel, Doc Redman, Trevor Werblio, Andrea Lee, Devin Bling, Zach Johnson, Todd Anderson, and Sean Foley. The RLX Golf Collection is available in select Ralph Lauren stores, exclusive private clubs and resorts, and online at ralphlauren.com.
Well, here's the deal. You look good, you play good, you play bad, you better look good. So shout out Ralph Lauren, however, Sleaze throws a little fancy on it. But let's get to John Cubby Burke on Subpar. Here we go.
All right, folks, we got a certified veteran of the caddy game with us here today. He's been on the bag for Brad Faxon, Davis Love, Bill Haas, just to name a few. Lumpy, by the way, as well. His name is John Burke, but to the golf world, he's Cub. Cub, good to have you, brother.
It's great to be here with you guys.
And to me, Stiffy. It will always be Stiffy. Who the hell's Cubby? Don't care. Let's get into this right now because Sleaze hasn't heard this story. Why do I call you Stiffy?
Yeah,
and then we'll go over my version.
Okay, we're going to go with the caddy version first because it's always different than the player version. So we're sitting in the caddy room, which Colt spent more time in the caddy room than he did in the locker room.
That's where all the fun is.
Yeah,
by the way.
The biggest compliment you can pay a player is you got a lot of caddy in you. That's what we always told Colt. But anyway, we're sitting in the caddy's room at, where were we? We're at Napa. And there was golf on TV, right?
Yeah, it was a Saturday college football day.
And we were done playing because we were done playing early.
That's what we did. At least we were playing.
we got to the lunch line first, but it was pretty full. And the guy that ran the caddy room came over and said, "Do you want to turn this to football or something?" Or I said, "Yeah, get rid of these stiffs," right?
These guys that are still playing.
I didn't know Colt was about 4 tables away, right? And he heard that, and he immediately turned around, looked at me, and said, "Those stiffs write your paycheck." And I said, "Sometimes."
Yeah.
That version's
and not those stiffs because my stiff's already done, by the way, which is why I'm eating.
Yeah, exactly.
But he was caddying for John Curran at the time, so to me, Cubby became Stiffy, and John was Lil Stiffy.
Yeah, and we never said Colt or anything else. It was always Stiffy and Little Stiffy.
Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, Stiffy is a lot better than Little Stiffy. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be a Stiffy, like a big would be nice. Hey, big Stiffy, but yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I don't think John liked the Little Stiffy.
Little Stiffy's
part.
tough.
No,
look. Tough look.
It was a real awkward moment too when John's now father-in-law came up to me and said, "Heard you call my son-in-law Lil Stiffy." I was like, yeah, so let's just move on from this.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, he's a big wheel in the golf business.
Yeah.
His father-in-law.
Oh, that's great. Let's settle this too, because your last real full-time boss on the bag was John Curran, right?
Yes.
So John and him and I used to battle it out for inch by inch who could hit it the longest.
And really, you can emphasize inch by inch.
Yes. So do you want to settle it right now that I actually was longer than John Curran?
Well, my recollection is when you I think you actually hit 1 year 260.
Okay.
Whoa, big year.
John was like 259.8.
Okay, these numbers are wrong, but
are these adjusted for inflation?
Which actually says something about both of them staying out there.
It does.
In this modern day and age, you know, because John lost in a couple playoffs when I was working for him. Colt played great, and everything. Every night they text each other on their driving distance. And I was like, when I graduated from high school, me and my best friend were the last two academically, right? And it wasn't because of lack of brain power, I think. It's just because we didn't go to school much. But it was like these two every single night. It was a battle.
It was a battle down to the 0.1 yard.
And I even noticed it sometimes at the end of the day. John would be swinging harder. And
he knew what the driving distance
holes. He knew
I
it.
don't care, dude. I don't care if we have to lay up twice. I'm sending this thing.
But it was a fun little battle. I remember we got paired together at Bay Hill on Sunday one year. I mean, we're in 40th or whatever, not going that great. But we like to have fun with each other. So we get to 17, the par 3. I said, all right, John, if one of us makes it, the other one has to do a cannonball off the 18th green. And he goes, fine, deal. And I hit my Gary, my hybrid, all right at it. And I go, plug your nose, Stiffy. And he slams the tee box. Ball went close to the hole or whatever. I was like, can you imagine if one of us had to cannonball off the 18th at Bay Hill? Probably wouldn't be invited back.
That's how you get on TV in a T42
the only way
situation.
You get on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the best setup.
When you guys hit, you said it was 260, but if you get it teetering over 265, you get the drug test. Like when the NFL players post them doing something weird and they immediately get tested.
Oh, no, they just pass those two right by.
Yeah, you're fine. Whatever drugs you're on, you need more of them.
Yeah, keep taking it.
Here's some steroids, actually.
Yeah, really get that up to 260.
Yeah, there you go.
So let's talk about your start. Like, how did you actually even get into caddying?
Back then, it was a whole different story, obviously, because there were so many guys that's waiting in the parking lot. That's not how I started, though. I was managing a ski shop in Sun Valley, Idaho. One of the players, Charlie Bowling Jr., not
Typical
Charles.
caddy, don't listen because I told you not to beat the table.
Don't beat it, Stiffy. This is a non-beating environment in here.
We're off to a hot start.
Can you hear that? Anyway.
Be no beating on this pod.
I'm managing a ski shop. Charlie comes in for a week because he went to prep school with the owner. And he was took San Diego off because he hit it about 240 then. So
who's Charlie?
Charlie Bowling Jr. was a Duke graduate that played in the mid-'80s.
Remember, we were born the year you started caddying.
Yeah, right? I do.
So sometimes you got to break that down for us.
I remember Charlie's game. He's a hell of a talent.
Yeah,
I remember him watching him from the womb. I was like, this guy's got it.
Yeah, this guy really got a great wedge game. Yeah. Well, anyway, Charlie was there for a week. We hung out and everything, and he had a caddy at the time called Crack Eddie Terrell. And
the golden era.
Yep. And Crack was always in his pocket, getting in advance and everything. So at the end of the week, I just said, hey, Charlie, if you ever need a caddy, give me a call. And I didn't think anything would happen. And 3 weeks later, he called me, said, meet him at Vegas. We'll give it a try. We missed 3 cuts in a row, and he hired me.
What a guy.
Yeah. And I wasn't blown. I had no idea what I was doing other than caddying when I was a young kid. I wasn't blowing him over greens. I was blowing him over grandstands, I caddied him right off tour. And he was a really good friend with Brad Faxon. And during the Canadian Open that year, Charlie got sick. I was already up there. Brad was up there without a caddy, and he hired me, and he finished T12th and kept his card with like $72,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
it's an average caddy paycheck nowadays.
So he thought I was a big deal, and he hired me the next year.
Hold on, you mentioned Fax Canadian Open, first time, 11th hole, first round together.
Did he? Oh, you're going to have to refresh my memory.
I don't know the story.
Well,
he said, ask him about our first ever round together, 11th hole Canadian Open.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna tell you what I think Fax would say. It's not really what happened because he's great at embellishing stories. But we started at 10. This is my first round with him, right? So we go down 11, and on 10, he hit it in the fairway on 2, right?
Okay.
So I had no yardage from over there or anything, or knew what I was doing. So, couldn't really figure out the yardage. But we get down to 11. It's straight downhill. It's in the valley. The wind is...
This is at Glen Abbey.
Glen Abbey.
I know the hole. Yep.
Yeah, the wind's always... It's always swirling there. You never know what it's doing. At least I never did. And he hits it right in the middle of the fairway. And we're giving the number, or he does the number. We do it together. He says, what do you think? And I said, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I agree with whatever you think.
Yeah, exactly. And he never forgot that. Yeah, I mean, I guess he expected me to say 7-iron.
How long did y'all work together?
13 years.
That's
13.
where it started. He showed up without a caddy.
Well, he showed up,
and he was like, "Hey, I like you."
Well, no, because Charlie was sick, and they were like really good friends. He says, "Cub's up there. He's already up there, So take him.
And we haven't made a cut yet. He's great. I bet he can do wonders for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I knew him by then.
That's a hell of a way to slide in, though, to a nice you know what I mean? Just on a random happenstance. Like, oh, he needs a guy, and your guy got sick.
Back then, there was 50 guys waiting in the parking lot.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And guys
Like
would
a
drive
Monday
up, and they
nowadays.
just swarm their cars. Yeah, yeah. It's nothing like it is,
You
anymore.
just kind of passed the line and went to a nice bag, by the way.
Exactly.
Well, we've gone over how you got the name Stiffy, but how'd you get Cub?
Well, I was back home playing with some of my hockey teammates, and this was like 1975 during the Golden Jack era, the Golden Bear. And it was an early morning tee time, and I showed up. I hadn't got a lot of sleep that night, and I shot 33 on the front. I was chipping in, nailing 8 irons from the fairway and stuff. And so they started giving me, crap.
You can say whatever you want on this pod.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they started giving me shit, and they started calling me the Golden Cub.
Perfect.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. And then I proceeded to shoot 48 on the back, and we're walking off the 18th green, and they said, we're taking the Golden away.
That's nice. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, caddies have some of the best nicknames. We've always talked about this. You already said crack something before that.
Crackhead Jimmy, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got Cub, obviously Bones. Give us some of your favorite caddy nicknames out there.
Well, there was Killer, who was actually, actually a felon for murder. He was out there for a while.
That one makes sense.
Yeah, and I think Bones brought this one up, Penitentiary Larry.
Penitentiary Larry. Yeah.
That just scared the hell out of Bones. He was actually a pretty
I think
good
Killer
guy.
sounds like a guy might be a little frightening.
Yeah, and then there was a Wanderer, because he just seemed to wander all around all the time and never really do anything.
Last Call Lance.
The Last Call Lance, which he wasn't real fond of, but yeah, that was.
It was true.
It was about as true as a nickname would get. There's just a ton of them. I'll tell you. There's, Fluff is one of the best ones.
Yep.
That's recycled too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was one of the announcers. It was Steve Melnick. Was nicknamed Fluff, and he passed it on to him when he. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like more caddies go by nicknames than their actual names.
Yeah, because honestly, I was working last week at Hilton Head on the first tee with Gary Woodland, Tony Fino. I introduced myself as John Burke the Knocker.
John Burke.
Because I was knocking on the table again. And he thought I was kidding him.
Yeah.
Gary Woodland,
Well, he's not very smart.
Well, I call
You
him.
can trick Gary.
Yeah, I call him Strut.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's always strutting around.
You got that chest out.
Yeah.
At all
How much
times.
would you say?
I would be too if I was him.
Oh, don't delete that part.
Yeah, we'll edit that. We'll change what
How
you
much
said.
would you say? I mean, seriously, from 1985 to now, like the caddy world, it's totally different.
It's a joke. They really don't have a clue. They're all spoiled. They got their little caddy lounge and their parking, and they
Good
get
food.
They get good food, and they get gifts, and people actually talk about them now. And before we were like the Blue Water Crew. We were told where we had to go to the bathroom, and where we were told we can't go anywhere. So we would just congregate together in mass and have a great time because there were so many characters back then.
They're getting on Netflix and stuff now. Give us an idea of like the living. All right, you're going week to week on tour back then. Walk us through like where you're staying. How many? I'm assuming you're staying with another caddy or something to.
You're always
reduce
staying with at
expenses.
least one other caddy.
Yeah.
Usually you're staying with two or three other caddies.
How would you do? Who gets the bet? Low score.
Yeah,
By
you
your
would
guy?
do low
Yeah,
score and stuff
yeah.
like that.
So
yeah.
if you wake up sore the next day, it's your boy's fault.
So your guy, you wanted your guy to shoot low every single
Work hard.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you caddied hard just to get a bed.
See, I don't know if you know this, but Sleaze actually caddies once a year at Colonial for Wyndham Clark.
That's a good one to do it at.
It's great. Like the food's good. I hang out in there with the caddies the whole time. Basically,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal.
But I complimented you because this was supposed to be, we're going to film at noon. You show up around 11:45, 11:50. You're prompt. Okay. Sleaze, maybe not so much, but what kind of advice could you give a young up-and-coming caddy like Drew Stoltz, the Sleaze?
Right. I'm 1 for 2 on cuts made, but when we make the cut, we don't ever make bogeys on the weekend, and we finish top 20.
Well, show up on time for one thing, right?
Good start.
Yeah, because
I do that.
that's the number one
about all I
offense
do.
for being rinsed.
Mm-hmm.
Geez, I mean, you know the game, so that's why they're gonna want you around and stuff like that. But
It's hard with clubs though. With Wyndham, I'm like, so I would hit 5, so this is probably a 7 for you. I don't know. Like the distances they hit it now are so weird. I'm like, I don't even know what you're capable of.
the guys that hit the ball longer are harder to club.
It's I just say I think it's playing 201.
Yeah.
Is the shot like you want to fly it, and I don't know what club that is for you, by the way.
They got gears, and and they're harder to club. Davis was a lot harder to club than John Curran. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
In fact, he was. Well, I love Fax like a brother, but I'm going to get on him a little bit. He led the tour in other fairways hit.
And he didn't hit it that far.
Strokes gained other fairway.
Yeah, but honestly, when I learned early, I had to get a sprinkler head from, if there was adjoining fairways like Flint or someplace, I always got sprinkler heads from adjoining fairways.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
That's hard work. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. But I was caddying for Calc there once on an off week. Fax wasn't there, and he hit it into that same second fairway off a 10T or 8th or whatever it was. And I walked right up to a sprinkler head on that and gave him the number. And he said, "How the hell do you have that sprinkler head?" And I said, "I work for Fax."
Yeah. Believe it or not, I've been over here a couple times.
Yeah. You had to put the bathrooms in your yardage book, and you had to put all the sprinklers in there for Fax.
The opposite sprinklers. My 138 front from right here, bud.
Yeah.
Pins on 12.
I'll tell you what, but Fax from 7-iron in the bag was just clutch. And had more heart than anybody I ever worked for. Just never got upset about a bad shot. And the best putter I've ever seen in my life.
Did you ever do anything for him on the greens? Did he ever ask you for reads? Or you just like, let me leave Picasso alone here and let him paint?
If he asked me for a read, which was probably 10 times a year, I know there's no way I'm going to probably be able to tell. If he can't read it, because he was a genius, right? Mm-hmm. I remember one time, I think we were in Seattle, and he asked me for a read, and all my friends were there and everything. They were all following around watching. And I got behind him, and I looked it from behind. I looked it from the other side. I looked it from the right, and I looked it on the left. And I got behind him and said, Fax, I got no clue. Good luck.
I like what you like.
Yeah.
And just walked away.
Well, I didn't.
It's fair. At least you're honest. He made it.
Yeah.
Oop, good read.
Yeah.
And one of your 10.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
Buckets.
I like that. So you're 13 years with Fax, and then to Davis Love?
Davis for 8.
Davis for 8. How did that switch all come about?
When did and how did I rinse Fax, you mean?
Oh, did you fire Fax? This is perfect.
Yeah, get that story.
Now, that's the total caddy version. When I say I rinse the player, make sure you think it's the exact opposite.
Yes.
I got rinsed because I never rinsed a player in my life.
But how about going from Brad Faxon to Davis Love III?
I was lucky. I was very lucky. And, I remember how it kind of happened. We were in Sun Valley and ski resort. I used to host a lot of the players up there. They'd come up, I remember I hosted Phil his rookie year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
And meaning hosting, I mean, I got them all set up and everything. They didn't stay at my house and stuff like that. But we were on the lifts, and Fax and I were planning this ski trip, and Davis were riding up a lift. And he says, "Hey, I just committed to L.A. Do you want to go?" And we're in the first day skiing. And I looked at him. I said, "Yeah, I definitely want to go." And Fax is looking at me going, "What about the rest of the ski trip?"
Yeah.
I said, "Have a good time."
And you bolted.
I bolted. Yeah, we lost in the playoff. But
Good choice.
Good start.
But then when Fax rinsed me, I rinsed Fax over a punctuality disorder situation.
Okay. You're more than welcome to go into detail
like to
there
hear
if
that
you
as a
want,
guy
or we
who-
can just let it go.
Well, Fax is notorious for making you sit outside the locker room. In fact, and he may not agree with this, but I remember at Durrell one year where we played in the morning pro-am, and we got finished, and Calc was first off in the afternoon, and I was still waiting outside the locker room when Calc finished after the pro-am.
Oh. Yep.
Yeah, 4.5 hours.
Punctuality. See, it's a big deal, even for players.
Yep. But I made the mistake of sending somebody in and tell them to say to Fax verbatim what I thought outside the locker room waiting for him for 2.5 hours, and the guy did it.
And it didn't go over well.
I got fired at the end of the week.
What were you thinking?
What
was
I
the
saying?
message?
Oh, I can't repeat what I said.
I think I got it.
But you are
Yeah.
still very good friends. to
Yeah,
this
he's
day.
like a brother to me.
That's
We went
awesome.
through a lot together, and he's one of my favorite people in the world.
Is
Love
it
the
weird
guy.
when you go from a guy like that's a long relationship, 13 years, then boom, now you got Davis Love, total different personality, total different game, and all that, like kind of learning what makes him tick. All right, he's running hot. This is how I used to handle Fax when he was doing that. Now this is how I need to handle this guy. Some guys are kick him in the ass and they get going. Some guys need to be stroked a little bit.
They were kind of similar in a lot of ways that they never got upset about shots and they never really blamed it on the caddy. Both of them. So I was lucky for that period of time, so the differences in their game was a difficult transition, as far as Davis hit, like I said it earlier, he was tougher he had gears. So
he was the longest
and an incredible driver of the golf ball.
Yes. Yeah. And his long irons were a thing of beauty. I remember once we were playing in the President's Cup and we were playing against VJ and Ernie, and this is all in their prime, right? Mm-hmm. And it said Robert Trent Jones, and there was a pin cut over water on the left side. I think we were 1 up going into 16, and he had like 220 and pull forward iron, and I'm assuming he's going to draw this club in, or hit it 30 yards out to the right. He used the most beautiful cut over that water to 4 feet and just pretty much won the match, and those are the kind of shots that stuck with him. Mm-hmm. He was so talented with his long irons.
Physically, he was like the gifts he had was rare.
Yeah.
The full swing.
Yeah. And, and plus he's the integrity, the class, Davis is a really good person,
Did you ever get in trouble for stealing his head cover?
Did I ever?
Yeah.
Did I do that?
Just a random question.
Maybe?
Oh, no, that was with Fax, and that was Phil.
Okay, my sources disappoint me a little bit, but go ahead, tell the story.
Yeah. This was a bad year for me. This was my penalty stroke year.
We're gonna get to that. just hold on.
I'm glad you're bringing up all the bad shit I did.
Yeah.
Don't talk about the players win or the Ryder Cup.
No, what we do after the show is we recap the episode and we talk about how great you are, but not while you're sitting here.
Okay. Torrey Pines. Playing with Phil, and was I working with Davis? I think I was working with Fax. Davis was in the group.
Okay.
Those are the three, so, and we're having a great time. It's like a practice round almost. Everybody's having such good time. Well, Fax only brought out like 2 sleeves, and that's never enough balls for Fax for 18 holes, right?
Yeah, so with like professionals or whatever they were at the time, Baladas.
Yeah, exactly.
Cut those things
this
quick.
Is like 93 or 4.
Yeah, that's Balada.
We started, I think we started on 10, so we're making the turn off 18, go to 1, and Fax is running in the clubhouse to get some balls, right? So that's quite a run. And anyway, so we're hitting, and Phil hits, and then Brad hits, and they both Brad hit a draw and Phil hit a cut, but the sun was right in our eyes or something, and we got up there, and I got up there. I was like first off, and I was going to the ball, and I realized I didn't have the head cover, so I kept looking back, and I didn't see it, right? And I wasn't paying attention what I was doing, and in fact was running down into the fairway and stuff, and I go to the ball. Phil's over at his ball, and I'm looking for the head cover. I'm never looking at the ball. Not to say that I looked at the ball every single time, right? Anybody that says that is, but anyway, they hit their shots and they hit them up to the green. And sure enough, we got up there and they had hit the wrong balls. Well, Phil had taken the head cover and put it underneath his shirt. That's what he did, right?
Oh.
And he didn't give it to me till after the shot. But the best part of the story is the funniest thing that Johnny Miller ever said on air, because they did an aerial of us walking back to the ball. And Bones and I are about 12 yards ahead of them. And Bones has got his head down because this is a mortal mistake, right? You know, this is a career ender possibly. And I'm kind of going, oh, the hell did that happen? And because I still didn't quite believe it. And they're both kind of yelling at us, right? And we're walking back, and there's an aerial shot of it, and Johnny Miller goes, Yeah, there goes Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, nice.
On TV. Yeah. I thought it was the best line he ever said.
Wow.
Hey.
So Phil jacks your head cover, and then y'all end up hitting the wrong balls, having to go back.
Yeah,
Kind of takes
cool.
a little of the joke away when you're like, oh, by the way, you're penalized.
Everybody was in contention, too.
Oh.
Everybody had a good 9 holes.
Boy.
But it was the beginning of the tournament, but everybody was
You
right
still had
up.
plenty of time to mess it up.
All 3 of them were on the leaderboard.
Wow.
Well, you said when you started, you're obviously, it was the Nicklaus era. Then you work your way. You're in the middle of the Tiger era.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
golf's booming. It still is, but golf was booming back then, especially late 90s, early 2000s. We got any Tiger stories?
Yeah, I do have a few of them because he used to always come up to Brad when he was a kid and challenge him in the short games at the Shark Shootout at Sherwood and stuff like that. So I knew him kind of before he got out on tour and stuff like that. But I remember when, he was very security conscious and, we kind of had a relationship where we gave each other a lot of shit. But anyway, Johnny Wood and I were driving around in Chicago, pulled into a restaurant, and Tiger pulled in right after us and parked over a little bit ways. And we had just picked up Johnny's laundry and everything, and Tiger went into the restaurant. So we took a hanger out of the clothes and we stuck it in his window, and like we were, and then we just left it there. Oh, God. So the next day we're on the range with him, and he's telling everybody the story about everybody trying to break
into his car.
Did you ever admit to him it was you?
I did right there, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure he had some nice choice words.
Oh,
for you.
yeah. I can't repeat those either, but
You
he
do
always
that
said
now,
that.
and there's a sniper on the roof probably looking at you.
Yeah. Another time I jumped on the back of his car in front of a hotel when he was trying to, waiting for somebody. He just freaks out when that happens, There's a couple I can't tell either, but,
What's it like? I mean, obviously, you want to win. This is your living. This is how you make money. But Ryder Cups have to be the most special.
Yeah, here
weeks.
we go.
Yeah. There's nothing like it. I don't know if there's anything like I can't compare it to anything else in sports. Like I remember in one of our hockey games, there was an NHL player playing with us, and he was acting like an idiot. And I said to him, "Act like you've been there." And he said to me, "How would you know you've never been there?" It's kind of like, so I can't compare it. But the most nervous I've ever been in my life is at the Ryder Cup on the first tee. It's just a special environment and everything. And that is that was the era when they hated each other, right? And I'm 0-4 in Ryder Cups, so the European team loved me.
Stay out of Rome.
I remember
Kidding.
the first time we're in Spain at Valderrama, and this is 1997. We're teeing off first on Friday. And I think it's Fax and Freddie, because they always put Freddie with Fax playing best ball, right? And I think we're playing Langer and Montgomery, and there's really nobody there. And there's a board about 6 feet away. It's like a hockey board. It's up like this. And I'm just standing there nervous as hell. It's my second Ryder Cup, not as bad as the first one. And I turn over there, and I look, and it's Michael Jordan, right? And no one knows he's there. This is the first time he's ever gone, and he hadn't told anybody and everything like that. And he looks at me, and he gives me this manly fist pump, like Jordan, only Jordan can do, right? This is after he'd won 5 championships, and he was going to get his 6th that year. And I'm caught off guard, and I gave him the stupidest fist pump back. I looked at him and went like that. I know nobody could see that, but he looked at me like I was the biggest idiot that ever walked. And that was my take from that, that Ryder Cup. Because later in the day, I tried to act manly around him, and that backfired too.
Yeah, do that one.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, the Ryder Cup's unbelievable.
Tell us about the acting manly part. That's good.
Well, Tom Kite was the captain, and back then the captains always had the cooler for the water in the back of their carts, and he's sitting on the back of the carts, and he's all legs, right? He's what? And he's
6'6",
and both of his legs are kind of blocking the cooler. And Fax was parched because he's so nervous and everything. Everybody is. So I got to get him to water. So I run up to him and I hit him as hard as I can in the knees, and I said, "Get out of the way," and I grabbed the water. And once again, he gave me that same look. And
it's a bold strategy.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Excuse me, Mr. Michael.
It backfired completely.
Did you ever see him again after that?
Yes.
And let him know how cool you are. You're not.
Yeah,
actually.
just because Keegan and Curran are such good friends, I asked him about that. I said, "Do you remember that?" And he goes, "Yeah, I remember that." And he never said anything to me the rest of the day.
That's it.
That's it. He never talked to me again.
Nothing else.
Nope.
Nah, that's a tough. You'll get another chance with Mike.
No.
Stay on those Ryder Cups because you mentioned that was like the hate era where it was a big, all that type of stuff. You played matches against Seve, and Seve he's one of Europeans, best ever at the Ryder Cup, but he had some gamesmanship tactics. Are those stories true? Did you notice him? Like, was he actually doing stuff?
Yeah.
Can you tell any of those?
Yeah.
Like things he actually did?
Yeah, and when he was captain, he did them too. So,
I'd love to hear.
Yeah. He clears his throat
when you're about to pull the trigger.
Yeah, continually and stuff like that. Yeah,
it's just congested.
And he's always kind of in the line, always kind of nervous and fidgety and kind of in the way, and on purpose. And then when you play against him, when Fax and him were in a match, it was just unbelievable to watch where these guys were making pars from. I remember the ninth hole kill. Seve's tee shot went about 42 yards and he made par to have the hole, So yeah, he was incredible that way.
Yeah, he was a fun one to watch.
But you're right.
He would do that, like the change jiggling. That's true. The clearing of the throats. Yep. Did anyone ever call him? Does anyone ever back off and be like, dude?
I think Zinger called him on it a couple times.
Zinger called him at Kiowa.
Yeah.
Because Seve and them were saying they didn't play the same ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, 91.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There was a discrepancy that they were playing with two different golf balls, and Seve called him out, and then Zinger got into it about jingling change and stepping right as he was getting ready to hit it and all this. And,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, they had it out a little bit.
That's when it was awesome. I mean, that one especially at Kiowa, that was a big one, big rivalry. It's changed a little bit. I think both sides still want to kill each other, but they're still friends. Back then, it felt like real. I don't like you, you don't like me. Let's go.
Yeah, that's when the animosity started. I think right there.
That's what made it so great. That's what built it up so much.
Yeah. And then when Sergio got there, he helped a little bit.
Yeah, running around.
He turned on for that thing quickly. They got a few guys that just all of a sudden that shows up and they go.
If you could caddy, I've only been to the Ryder Cup in the States. If you could caddy one more Ryder Cup, would you enjoy it more over there or here in the United States?
Well, I love going over there because the British was always my favorite tournament, but I'd rather do it in the United States. I would love to win in the United States. That's why I asked Sergio if I could work for him.
That's a good line. That's good.
What are any caddies that have gone so Scott? He was on the other side of the President's Cup this year. He's been on the U.S. side with Ricky for forever. Now he's with Tom Kim. He was on the other side of that. Did you know any guys that were U.S. and then went on grabbed a European bag and have been on both sides?
Yeah, I think there's been a few people that have done that.
That'd be interesting.
They kept it.
It's a strange dynamic,
You're rooting for your player. I mean,
of course, but it's still
we had an American caddy that bet against us with the Europeans in '95.
Really?
Yeah.
It was in the tournament?
Yeah.
He was on a bag?
Yeah, he was
and
with
he said,
Lauren
lose,
Roberts.
I'll bet you.
Yeah. Why can't I think of his name right now? I was
Really?
the caddy for Lauren Roberts.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Really?
I just feel like over there, their fans, I mean, it's just wild. They get into it. I mean, it's a big deal over here. But I just feel like over there it'd be really special, especially because we haven't won in 30 years as well.
Yeah. They go crazy over there, but they're also they're still a little bit polite with golf shots and everything over there, like they are with the British.
Like their chants and stuff on the first tee. We've been to one. We're gonna go this year. I can't wait for it. But their first tee environment is it's special. It's different.
Yeah. It really is.
You've caddied everywhere, but imagine 2025. Bethpage Black Ryder Cup.
That's what I was. That's the most entertaining place to caddy in the world.
And it's unfortunate because I think it most likely would have been captained by Phil and then Polter for their team.
For sure.
Yeah, or Colin. That would have been the perfect one. Phil gets Colin.
Oh, yeah.
God. Colin, no, thank you.
The New Yorkers.
New York, it's different up there.
It's the best. It is.
See, you love it.
Oh, I love it. I mean, I crack up all the time, no matter what they say, because it is true and it's to the heart and they don't hold back.
My first ever time playing there was a practice round for the Barclays at Bethpage. We're on 17, that par 3 that's brutal to hit the green. Playing with John Mallinger, we both missed the green. And Tuesday, this guy goes, "You guys fucking suck." Welcome to New York. Here we go.
Guy. I feel like it's one of those, if they love you like Phil, they love, right? He could do no wrong. He's gonna have the crowd support. It's probably the best place in the world to play. And on the other side, if you're on the wrong, like Sergio, with the gripping, re-gripping, stuff that's going on, your week's going to be miserable.
They made him cry.
I mean, it was but it's also New York, especially for the Ryder Cup, it's 1 week, it's going to be different, and then it's going to, you're going to go somewhere else and it's going to be back to normal.
Colin.
Just got to live with it.
Oh.
Colin couldn't handle it. Monty.
Oh.
Yeah, he was on the wrong side also.
Yeah.
It's tough.
They're not shy.
No.
And they do it to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except
they
for
don't.
Phil, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. They love Phil.
Oh, go
But
back
that
to
Ryder Cup will be insane.
yeah.
That's like going to be one of the highlights of all-time Ryder Cups, hopefully. Go back to 2004 because Hal Sutton, that was the year, Oakland Hills and all that stuff. But the big thing, which I didn't know about, the cowboy hat got a lot of attention when he came out on the first tee. Some of his decision-making also got attention, but talk about the cowboy hat.
Well, we were trying to decide on what to do for a present for him because Hal was great. He was one of the first captains that was really great to the caddies. Involved us in everything, got us Cadillacs for courtesy cars. That will never happen again because we would all leave the hotel at the same time and race to the parking lot.
Got to tone it back.
Yeah. Joe always won that race, or Judd, one of those two.
Mopeds next year.
So we were going to get him a present and everything. So Judd took the command and took the command, being from Fort Worth and everything. He bought him a really, really nice cowboy hat because I think Hal's into horses and everything like that. It's a beautiful hat, but it was black. Right? So he shows up on the first tee wearing that black hat, you know? So that was not a good sign right from the beginning. And the first pairing, I think, was Tiger and Phil, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Coming out with a bang, boys.
Yeah.
Didn't go so well.
And Phil hit it so far right, and the look that Tiger gave him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Over and over, by the way, there's clips of that, like Phil hitting and Tiger just like closing his eyes, trying to hide it, but not so much.
Yeah, and then his instructor telling Phil's wife why he hit that walking off the tee.
Oh yeah, the little here's what's going on in the swing. Like she's gonna relay a message to him. You're a little stuck.
Yeah.
There's always, like, I feel like, depending on who the caddies are, but there's some fun games between the caddies when you're out there paired together.
Yeah.
You'll do some, whatever, play hole by hole or whatever it is with your player. But I heard you like to play some little over-under games you would set, depending on who you're paired with. Possibly maybe if someone was a little negative.
Well, I guess you're talking. Yeah, we were playing with Scott Hoke one year with Davis. And I love Scott Hoke too. Believe me, he'll say anything, anytime, anywhere. He's not going to hold back, right? And I said to Davis, "We're going to do an over/under on how many stupid things Scott says today." We're walking out the first tee. And he said one sentence, and I looked at Davis and said, "That's two." And it's really hard to say two stupid things in one sentence.
But he did it. I believe the over-under was 7.5 that day, and he got there.
Yeah. He got there by about the fourth or fifth hole.
Love that.
Yeah.
What were some of the other games the Loops like to play while they were out there?
We didn't have games, but Faxon and I had a stupid number system, just to alleviate some of the boredom. We would use professional athletes' numbers instead of, their names. Instead of
for the yardages.
Yeah. If we had 199, it was one Wayne. Yeah.
That works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who was, obviously, not Davis or Fax, but who was the people you looked? Was it more based on the player or the caddy when you looked forward to who you are paired with?
Normally the caddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So give us some of your favorite caddies to get paired with.
Tony is always one of them.
Big Navarro.
Yeah, Tony always says.
Speaking of saying stupid things.
He's major minor, though. You be careful with that. He's a major league shit giver and a minor league shit taker.
I like that.
Just like Butch Harmon's another one. Oh,
major minor?
You give him shit. It's a period of time, depending on what he feels the offense is, before he'll talk to you again. And same with
talked to you in about 30 years.
Yeah, Tony. Tony's a good friend of mine. I mean, he always says the world's my dartboard, but it's really his. But he was one of my favorites. I got to tell you Tony's story that he pulled on me after I rinsed Davis.
That's gonna be our clip that we pumped the episode for.
After I rinsed
Davis, he was doing nothing for me.
Told Tiger no.
Dead in the water.
Numerous times I told Tiger. Every time he was open, Tiger, it won't work.
Stop begging.
Yeah, really serious. You're gonna have a good career, but nah, it's
not for me.
So after I rinsed Davis, it was about 4 months after Tony rinsed Adam Scott. I had called Tony and I said to him, "Hey Tony, we're good friends. I don't want to, but I'm looking. Will you give me Adam's number? He's open, and at the time Stevie's caddying for at the Open because Tiger was hurt." So he says, "Well, what do you want me to do? Put a towel in the bag for you too?" So he was a little upset. So I said, "Okay, Tony, that's it. Your friendship's more important, okay? Don't even give me the number. So my wife, our common law wife, is
Common law wife.
she's. I wish people could see that. Anyway, she wants to go on a bike ride, and you know, bike rides aren't real high on my priority, so I'm kind of stalling. I said, you know, and then all of a sudden the phone rings, and it's Tony. Says, you know, Cub, I thought about this, and there's nobody I'd rather have work for Adam after me than you. Now, that should have been a red flag for me, right? Right there.
Here we go.
It wasn't, but I was a little flustered with her. Come on, let's go take the bike ride and everything like this. So he gives me the phone number, and I say to her, let me call him real quick, okay? And see, you know, because I know he's on the course. I'll just leave a message. So I dial a number, and I'm waiting for the message to come on. And all of a sudden I go, hello, mate. And I gack. I completely screw that phone call.
Wrong number.
I go, hey, Adam, this is Cub. If I worked for you, we do really well. I got to go. Bye. You know, it was just terrible, right? And I didn't expect him to answer. So we take the bike ride, and I'm bitching the whole time. She's telling me to shut up the whole time. And I get back, and I get a phone call from Tony, and he goes to me. He says, how'd that phone call go with Adam? And I said, it was awful. I didn't expect him to answer, and I just completely blew the whole situation. And he goes, I got some more bad news for you. And I go, what? He goes, that wasn't Adam. That was Joey Damiano. He had one of the other. He gave me one of the other caddies' phone number. Oh my God! And the whole time I thought it was Adam.
It's good news, bad news.
He should have let that go for a couple
bad
weeks.
News, yeah.
Oh, he couldn't, but he felt so bad. He was apologizing for it, and I said, Tony, that was one of the best ever.
Yeah, let you run into Adam on the range, like, hey, dude, I'm sorry, but like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I didn't. Adam didn't hear that story till about 2 or 3 years ago. I told him he had a big. He laughed about that.
That's good.
Tell me about. I know you spent quite a bit of time in Mexico.
About when
They're very open-ended.
Yeah, you know a lot of stuff.
Very open-ended
You've
question.
done your research.
Are you surprised? We're professionals around here.
Are you talking about 1970s?
I was just told to ask about your time in Mexico.
You mean winning the Mexican? Are being told never to come back into the country?
I think we
Feels
probably
like
go with
that
one.
one. Feels like that
Maybe
second one
possibly
there.
that's the story.
Well, I was back in the 70s.
You're not allowed in Mexico?
I wasn't, but they didn't have computers, so I was. We got busing in Mexico and got in San Blas, Mexico, and spent the weekend in jail and bartered our way out.
Jesus.
But we had to
That's
be.
pretty impressive.
I didn't know we were
though,
doing. This is
that
our
you
first
did that.
criminal on the.
Yeah.
But we had to be deported on all the way across the country from the western coast all the way into Brownsville, Texas, with 2 vehicles that were federally armed in each one.
That's a comfortable.
And then
trip.
we were told never to come back into Mexico. So when Cameron was winning the Mexico down there, I was trying to stay away from the camera.
Oh yeah, because y'all won Mayakoba together.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a little camo, a little disguise.
What did someone tell you about this?
No, they didn't tell me anything. They just
You
told
just
me to
told
ask
us
these
everything.
questions.
We didn't
So
even know you'd ever been to Mexico.
Yeah.
Can we? Cub,
I was 22 years old with it.
I don't know if the statute of limitations is run down there in Mexico.
No
Can we get
computer.
into the charges here that landed you there, or what you did to get into a Mexican prison in the first place?
We had bought 2 pounds of weed, and we were going to go camp by a river going into the ocean, and we were out on the beach digging clams, and obviously the guy who sold it to us was in cahoots with federales, and they pulled us over and searched our
he
vehicles.
set you up.
Yeah.
Little sting operation.
Yeah, 1972.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's just wrong.
Well,
Yeah. I really didn't expect that to come up.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
you negotiated your way out of it. If there's one police force in the world that's probably open to some negotiation, it's,
Yeah,
I think it's
we
those
traded
boys
our
down there.
Beatles tapes and some jeans, and
You need a sandwich? I got a couple of those. I can get you one of those.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we could tell stories for 4 hours. I feel like. But
Should we get a quick recap of? We talked about a lot of your guys. You did do what we'll call like a farewell or retirement tour with our boy Lumpy. Tim
Yeah.
Aaron. How'd
Oh,
that
yeah.
go? He had to be a peach because I don't think he even gave a shit at that point. Maybe less than ever before.
Well, he still cared and everything, but he just kind of knew what was going to happen, and he was going to enjoy his last 9 months. So it was the most fun we ever had. In fact, I think we were a distraction to almost every group we were in because we were laughing so hard almost every day.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff he do. I remember we were walking up playing Reno, and he had a 5-footer for eagle, and he hit it 3 feet, and straight up the hill. Right, he hit the putt 3 feet. It was 2 feet short, and he put up his putter like in the caddy shack, and he yelled, "Cubby, I can't fucking take it anymore," and he just fell, and he didn't even break his fall, and his arm was right here, and he bounced off the green, right, and he just laid there, and there's about 50 people following him because he's entertaining, right, and everybody was laughing, and then everybody got deathly quiet.
I can't take it anymore.
I can't fucking take it anymore.
He's the best.
How have I not seen it? They got to have a clip of that.
And honestly, the guys in the fairway, I look back, they're all like this with their hands on their knees laughing. Finally, I said, "Are you all right?" He goes, "Yeah, I just don't want to get up yet." I mean, stuff like that. I mean,
that'd be a fun last little hurrah for him.
Yeah.
He's the 10 anyways, but when his care level's low, probably even more.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
God, he's the best.
Yeah.
They
don't make him like that anymore.
He is so special.
And the guys out there now tell me all the time, it's just not as fun out there. There are not as many characters on both sides of the bag. I mean, I had a good time when I was out there.
You still do? Yeah, you were just there. You had a good time on Saturday. You shot 64.
0-0.
Yep. I think the money.
Can't niche caddying either.
There's no caddies having to negotiate with the federales to get back into the United States in Mayakoba anymore.
Yeah, but back then there was a lot of caddies negotiating with law enforcement.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the E9. We do this with everyone, okay? 9. I mean, they're supposed to be fun questions, but these have all been pretty fun. We ask this to everyone. You can trade lives with anyone. Be somebody for one day. Dead or alive of all time. Who would it be?
Well, it'd probably be Wayne.
The great one.
Yeah.
Gretzky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I had no skills or talent as a hockey player. It was just go to the corners in front of the net, bounce around and shit, Love to play the game with skills.
Gretzky in his prime.
Yeah.
Is there another, just for my reference here, because you already answered one of mine, is there another question maybe along those same lines coming up involving that man on your side? If not, I'm going to fire. Okay.
Mine is.
All right, I'm going to give you this one then. Craziest caddy fan interaction you've seen where a caddy had to step in and regulate somebody because it was too much?
I was probably, we were playing in the finals in match play at La Costa against Davis.
Back in the day.
Yeah, that was the little guy that was running around. Every time Davis was in his backswing, yelled, "No love."
Oh, yeah. Remember that.
And I went up to him, and finally I
forgot about that.
Yeah, and I kept trying to search for him and everything, and Tiger's security wasn't doing anything. Why would they? We started, we were leading the match until that started happening. Finally, I saw him by the ropes, little guy kind of sneaking in and out. And I kind of figured that was him. And so I went up to him and got right in his face. And the media just blasted both of us for doing that.
I remember that.
Yeah. But it was like,
why they blast you? Didn't they take him?
Yeah.
It's your job to protect your guy and make sure if somebody's heckling him, you find him. I mean, it's not even really your job. It's the security's job.
We ended up losing that match, but they just blasted us saying we were way out of line to go after him. But it was literally right at the top. He would wait till he was right here every single time.
I remember it too, and they made it sound like, if you didn't know and you weren't there, it made it sound like he did it one time.
No.
And it wasn't at the top. It was just he was not rooting for Davis, basically, and he got booted. But that,
he did it at least 4 times before I spotted, because of course everybody's following us, so he's hard, and he's a little guy, so he's in and out of everybody, so you hear it, you look over, right? Then you just see little feet scoot around, so yeah. And
that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next one. You've had some other jobs in your time, okay? Hockey GM. Now you're the, what do we call it? Poho? Poho. You were once a roofer. Okay.
You got a lot of skills, dude.
Yeah, you do it all. But I believe you broke up with a girlfriend while you're doing some roofing.
Who the hell did you call?
Maybe share the story with us.
Broke her poor heart. Yeah, poor girl.
Oh God, I can't believe. Did you call people and catch them at all?
Just answer the question.
She hasn't rebounded to this day. Just to let you know.
No, she's doing fine. Believe me.
I don't know. She's still. There's a hole in that heart.
Yeah, well, there was a hole in that roof too. Me and Bonzo were sitting on top of the roof, and we were talking about it and commiserating. And we could see our condo, and it was about 2 blocks away. And all of a sudden, the window was open, and all my shit was being thrown out of the condo.
Oh, so she broke up with you.
Yeah. I mean, but all his shit was being thrown in the condo under the yard. And
What'd you do?
I said, I'll grab that at lunch.
So you're on another job. Look over to your condo, and she's throwing all your stuff out the window.
Who are your
so
sources?
This is so great. There was a hole in that roof, too.
I got to know your sources.
We'll get to it after the show.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. Next one.
Oh, you might have answered it. I was going to ask you the biggest mess up or mistake you ever made. I assume it was the wrong ball situation.
Well,
correct?
not only that, it was we hit the wrong balls that day. Later that year, we hit the wrong type of ball going up 9th at Westchester.
Little ball change?
On a ball change where
Nice.
I threw him a ball from my pocket, and he hacked it up the left rough and made a long putt for a bogey and ended up being a triple, I believe, when he looked at the ball.
So it wasn't even the same manufacturer.
No, it was Titleist.
Okay.
It was just
a
a
different
type.
type.
Yeah.
Is this Fax or Love?
Faxon. He had tried a bunch of different balls during the off week, and he said he had them all out of there, and I didn't really check it, and I apparently had one in my pocket, and I threw it to him in 4-caddy. And the other was a 4-caddy at Hartford, which is a legendary, well, I don't know if it's legendary, but it's a story. We're on 18. Fax had just missed 4-footer for birdie. Very seldom happens on 17, but he was still up first. We're 4-caddying on the left there. It's when the range was behind the clubhouse, down the hill.
This is before my time.
Yeah, and they had the big green fencing up. And the big tree right when you get to the top of the hill there, that's probably 180 in the start of the fairway. We were just to the left of there, and the other caddy, I was just about ready to turn around, and he asked me a yes-no question, and I turned to him and I said no, and I heard thwack, and then I heard, "Watch out, Cubby." And then before I could even turn around, a line drive hit me in the back, right in the middle of my back. And I buckled my knees. And as I was going down, I went, "That's 2."
Signaled 2.
Had to, yeah.
You knew it was Fax.
Yeah, I knew it was Fax because he was up first, right? And so it's in the rough. It's 6 inches deep, right? And so he comes up and he goes, "Why were you signaling that? Are you okay?" He said. And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." He says, "Why were you signaling you're all right?" And I went, "I wasn't. I was signaling that's 2."
Yeah.
That wasn't the
That
peace
too.
sign, bro.
He made a great 6, right? We were like in 53rd place. It knocks us down to 60th. I'm waiting for him by his BMW. He comes out and he says, "I want you to write an 1,500-word essay on what it takes to be a good caddy out here." And I said, "What am I, in 4th grade?"
He wanted you to write an essay. For
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
You didn't do
Please
it,
tell
did
me
you?
you did it.
Well, he hit the gas when I said that, and he almost hit a lady walking right in front of him. He had to slam on the brakes. And then we were staying at Denver that week, and I won't get into what happened or anything like that, but he had a little bit of trouble, and he was going through something personally and everything like that. And I was supposed to pick him up at the airport, and because of that, I wrote it, but I threw as much humor in there as I possibly could, right? Just to cheer him up a little bit,
Good man. You completed the task.
I completed the
1,500
task.
words.
Yeah, and actually, we moved recently, and I found it.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'd love
yeah.
to see it, actually.
I'm not showing that to anybody.
It would help if I had a player that didn't duck hook balls at my back as I'm going to 4-caddy.
Yeah, but
That's
I read
rule
it, and
one
I
of
became a
caddying.
better caddy after
Yeah.
I read it.
Yeah. I'd never have been hit in the fairway yet.
All right, well, one of mine was, has your own player
Yeah,
ball
you-
ever hit you? So we'll just
You're
go on to
getting
the
to a
next
lot of
one.
them, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a good 6 months, believe me, and I kept my job through all
You've
of it.
kept your job, by the way. People, they love you.
Oh,
'cause
yeah,
You've had a few
USA
things where
we-
people, less
US
understanding people would have said,
Yeah,
that's it.
USA Paper was talking about that, the USA Today, and also that next day when Stuart Sink won the tournament, I opened up the sports page at a diner, and the headlines was a picture of me and Fax and said, "Fax wishes he hit his caddy in the head."
Oh,
Not
nice.
Sink one.
No, right
Nothing.
underneath it in small print, Sink wins GHO.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No such
I will
thing
say,
as bad
on a
puff.
serious note, though, like everybody I talk to, there's great stories, but then it's Cubby is the absolute best, love him like a brother, all that.
Yeah.
So they do love you. They just like, because he had good stories.
Sometimes dudes mess up.
All right, next one. Was Fax a better driver of the golf ball or a car after he went to A.J. Foyt driving school?
I would have to say as a golf ball.
And that's not real good.
Damn.
Tell us about this. Bones, I will reveal one of my sources. Bones shared a story, said y'all were driving around Toledo after he did this driving school.
Yeah, it was Bones, Joe, and I. In fact, we were going to a movie, and it was my rental, which that same week Bones had taken the aerial and hid it underneath the, still had aerials, right? And underneath the seat. And all I could get was the Christian network I listened to all week. You know, that was part of that same week. Joe had kicked the door in. So
things are going well.
Yeah. So Fax goes, he's so excited. He just got finished with his driver's school. I'm going to show you guys a J turn. And we're in a construction area. You know what a J turn is, right?
I don't. I'm guessing it looks like a J,
It's
though.
probably shaped like a J.
Yeah, but you got to go in reverse, like 40 miles an hour. And then you got to hit the gears and flip it around, right? Okay. So we're all in the car, and he's back in that thing going 40, 50, and he hits it. And it flips around, but it goes up onto a curb, into a dirt pile. There's shit flying everywhere. The tires are blowing.
Have you rode with him since?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, my God. One A.J. Foyt driving school.
So just driving in general, just maybe not his thing.
No. In fact,
Does a lot of things well.
Yeah.
Driving.
Yeah, he's got attention deficit order too. So he's not paying attention to the road.
That can happen.
Yeah,
that's great.
It can happen.
J turn. Let's go practice.
I did it with him after that in a big parking lot, and he pulled it off. Okay. You know, there's no obstructions, and he tried to do it on the street. You know, in a housing development of houses just being built.
With 42 children running around the sidewalks.
Yeah, and three tour caddies.
Perfect.
And their buzzards were flying around us afterwards trying to get our jobs.
Oh, I love it.
That's good. All right, you're answering a lot of mine on the fly here, but I'll just throw out one impromptu here. Hopefully you got something. Just give me, if someone had never met Fluff Cowan in their life, explain Fluff to them.
Fluff is a laid-back, gentle soul that don't cross him.
Oh, yeah, he's got that?
Yeah. You don't want to cross him.
Seems pretty chill most of the time.
I got a good Fluff story, too, if you want to hear it.
There we go. That's what
you
we're
ready?
for.
You ready? Yeah. Hicksy, Frank, Fluff, and I. Hicksy were staying together in Tampa in a house during the tournament. It was during March Madness and everything. And Fluff had had played golf with Peter down in Naples, or Peter Jacobson, who he used to work for, right? Mm-hmm. And he came home and he couldn't find his wallet. He's tossing the furniture he wasn't even in, hadn't even been in the house yet. He's looking places where he hadn't been, in his cars and everything like that. He couldn't find his wallet, so he was sideways. So he said, I'm going to bed. But before he went to bed, he went into the bathroom. And he makes these primal screams when he's in the bathroom. You just don't know what he's doing in there, right?
Okay.
Yeah, he's just making all these noises that are just, we're looking at each other and everything like this. So he leaves the bathroom, and I go, God, you guys, I got to go see what he did in there. I just can't leave this alone. So I went in there, and I didn't notice anything different except for his dentures were in a drinking cup glass from the kitchen, and it was half full with Listerine and half full with water, and his dentures were right in there, right? So I took those, and I took them, and I hid them behind the TV. So the next morning, he gets up and goes to the bathroom, and the three of us are actually watching early morning games. We don't have to be to the course till later. And he goes in the bathroom, and I took that glass and I put the formula in there, right? The same with no dentures. The glass is still there.
But the teeth are gone.
There's no teeth in it.
Problem.
Yes, problem. So he comes out of there and he goes, hey, are you going to see my fucking teeth? We're going, and I go, no. And they all, Frank and Hicksy go, no, we haven't seen your teeth.
I didn't even know you had dentures.
Yeah, you had them in when you came in last night when you couldn't find your wallet. Well, they're fucking funny. I can't go, of course. Jen's going to be mad if I don't have my fucking teeth in. talking about Jim Furyk, right? And I said, Fluff, think about it. Where did you have them last? Could they have been in your wallet? He goes, oh, it's real fucking funny, Cub. Oh, fuck you guys. So he goes and he gets dressed and he's walking out the door. He goes, we're going to fuck. And I said, Fluff, they're behind the TV. And so
I bet he wanted to kill you.
Oh, he was so mad.
I don't remember surprised
you. I'm surprised you didn't let him go to the course without him.
Oh no, I couldn't.
Oh, that's
You
great.
can still rip darts with no teeth, though.
Oh God,
He's a beauty.
he is.
He's special,
I love Fluff. I just love the guy.
He needs to have like he needs to write a book at the end of it all.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That would be. He's been around the block.
Yeah, great caddy, better person.
Yeah,
Love
seems
that.
like it.
All right, last one for me. Have you ever asked for someone's autograph during a PGA Tour round?
Yeah, I know where you got that.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
If this is true the way he told it to me, this is incredible.
It's a true story.
Okay, good.
18th hole at Pebble. We had won 2001, and our partner was Bill Russell. And this is not the story, but it's kind of a prelude to it. It was that Bill was walking over the greens when we were trying to win, and he's got like size 15 shoes, and he's walking on our lines. And Davis says, you got to stop him. So I'm boxing out Bill Russell coming down the final 9 in front of the greens. You know, I'm like 5'9.5", right? Just trying to box out one of the greatest of all times. So we fast forward to 2003, and we're playing with Mike Weir and Wayne, his partner, and Davis is playing with John Lennon. Who works for no he's already dead.
I was about to say how that happened. I mean, years are messed up on something.
He was one of the top dogs at American Express. And anyway, you know, we were having fun with Wayne all day long and telling stories and everything like this. And my stepson, who's a big hockey player, you know, he really wanted me to get an autograph from Wayne, right? So I hadn't done it all day long, and Davis pipes it down the fairway, and we're watching Tom Lehman makes a putt for birdie, and now we're tied, right?
This is the last hole of the tournament.
This is 72nd hole. 72nd hole.
Shit is on the line.
Yeah, shit is on the line, and you know. And I said, this is a great opportunity because he's over on the left side of the fairway. We're on the right side of the tree right there, right? So I go over to Wayne. I said, hey, you got to sign this for my stepson. You know, he takes one of his balls and he signed it and everything, you know. And I turn it around and you know, it says 99 on it, you know. I turn it around and I go, why are you using Mario's balls? Because Mario Lemieux was 66, right? He said, get the fuck out of here, Cub. Well, Davis is yelling at me at this time. You need to get over here. You know,
He said his second shot at 18th at Pebble Beach, and you're over getting an
Tied
autograph.
for the lead.
Tied for the lead, yeah. And
At what point did you think this was a good idea?
I was gonna say after the round feels like a good time when you shake hands.
Well, you know what? He needed a distraction because we were waiting for the group in front of him, right? He needed to think about something else.
Oh, so this is good strategy by you. Yeah.
So I just went over and and then we just discussed it. It was a 4-iron, and he hit it to 20 feet and 2-putted, and we won the tournament.
And you got your
So
autograph.
it works. Sometimes players don't understand what you're doing for them psychologically.
Yeah.
It's above that, you know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean?
basically I
But
was
you get it.
Yeah, basically I was over there getting an autograph and never thought that at all.
The Mario
I
joke's
thought
good.
I had enough time.
The Lemieux joke's good too.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, Wayne
what are
really
you doing,
like-
dude? Get your own ball. Like you're known enough. You can probably get your own number on that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
That's
good.
good on the last hole. You cup, they don't make. That's he
That's
answered
it.
like
Perfect.
half. I had a Jordan question in there, but you already hit it. So
Cubs,
good on you,
Stiffy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're the
Stiffy.
man.
big stiffy. Appreciate you.
All right. Well, that was our man Cubby on Subpar. Sleeves the caddies. They are so fun. They have the best stories. We got to get more caddies on the show.
They're coming. Talked to a few just recently, by the way, for some name players. So we will get more caddies in the mix, and they never disappoint. All right, we are on to the Rocket Mortgage, and the PGA Tour is in full swing, and you can get in on the action with FanDuel. Sign up, and you'll get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. All right, BG, like I said, the Rocket Mortgage, it's here, it's coming, it's probably going to be a birdie fest. Time to cash in. Use your no-sweat bet on players like the guys we're about to mention. I'll let you start it off, Colt. Who's your favorite?
Yeah, so the odds aren't out yet, but we're gonna go ahead and throw you some names out there, and then we'll update it later on in the week. But listen, it's been a struggle for this guy as of late. I think he finally found something at the Travelers, getting a top 10, shot 62 on Saturday. I'm gonna go with my man JT. You can't keep him down this long. He's coming.
He showed some nice form, bounce back after that big number out at LA, and he put some birds on the board. And like we said, you're going to need tweeters this week. And the guy I got, this man is making a grizz of them right now. Made more than anyone out at LACC 2 weeks ago. Kept that going this week where he had a chance, a legit chance at a 59 burger. His time is nearing. Why not this week? Give me BDR Ricky Fowler. Stand up. Let's get this thing done.
The face of the Rocket Mortgage Classic. He's an ambassador for them. So I hope Ricky continues this great play. I was actually on the call for the 60. It was a lot of fun to watch him coming down the stretch. Had a good look at it. Didn't hit the best wedge into the last, but still hell of a round of 60. A little further down the board, this guy also makes a ton of birdies. That first win's coming soon. Saith Theegala, let's go, baby.
Ooh, that would be a very, very popular win on the PGA Tour. I'll be rooting for that. I'm going a little bit dark with my dark horse this week, Cole. But like I said, low scores expected this week. This guy, his 2 best finishes on tour came in similar style shootouts. 5th at Punta Cana, where he shot 16 under, and he was runner-up at the Byron Nelson, where he shot 22 under. He's got 7 straight made cuts, and he's top 25 in 5 of the last 6. Give me Austin Eckroat up in D-Town.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, pride of Edmond, Oklahoma. How about his high school at one point won 10 straight high school golf titles? State titles. That's
terrible.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
they produce some really good products, including, we hate to give him a shout-out, Hayden Wood.
Oh, shout out to H-Town.
Oh,
shout out to H-Town. He was riding on the coattails of Eckroat all the way to them state titles. By the way, had a legit look for 28 on the front 9 at LACC for the lowest 9 holes in major championship history. So the kid can make some tweets. If you like these, you can bet him to win outright, top 20, head-to-head matchups. Right now is the perfect time to join FanDuel. The app is safe, secure, and easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options and props, including the things I just mentioned. There's some exotic bets in there as well. And when you win, you get paid instantly. So get inside the ropes from now until the Tour Championship. Go to FanDuel.com/subpar and sign up. That's FanDuel.com/subpar to get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets.
FanDuel, official betting operator of the PGA Tour. Must be 21 years and older and present in select states. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Hope is here. Gambling helpline ma.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369 in New York. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, or Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777, or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700, or visit ksgamblinghelp.com in Kansas, 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana, or www.mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland, 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming, or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia.
All right, well done. Thanks for handling the reads. I'm about to go get amongst it out here in the city. It's going to get wild.
Have yourself a time, bud. You only turned 38 once. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's exactly right. Catching up to my waist size.
Go get. You're creeping up on it, doggy. A couple more.
All right, everyone, enjoy. We'll talk to you on next week's Subpar.